My name is Lea Estien, and I came to the United States in 2014 from Puerto Rico. Technically, Puerto Rico is part of the United States, but I came to one of the actual states in 2014. I don't know if you ever heard anyone comment on how our lives here in the US are always on the move, meaning we always have something to do. And unlike Einstein's equation, the speed of our lives is not only squared, but cubed. Throughout my life, I never really understood this comment, because if lives for the people in the US were in a constant speed, then our lives in Puerto Rico should be too. But I never felt as if my life was in a rush. My life was actually pretty slow. I had time to do everything. I had things under control, and the people around me felt the same way. I used to go to a specialized school where I took 10 classes from 7 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, which is 10 hours of learning, and I would still find time to spend time with my families, to go out with friends, to study music, to attend church, and have time for myself while I was maintaining a 4.0 GPA. I wouldn't have this routine life of school and then home, but I would actually have time to enjoy life. My life didn't seem complicated. And even though I didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow, I would find some kind of peace in that thought, because I knew that somehow everything was going to work out, and it would. When I came here, my life took a turn. And obviously, the turn was mainly based on the fact that I moved away from home. But later on, I realized that a big part of the challenge that I was facing was of how much my lifestyle had changed. I didn't receive a warm welcome. I received more of a bitter welcome called high school. I was specifically welcomed with, "This is going to look great on your college application." The college process over here is extremely rigorous. It is perceived as extremely important because of how hard it is to get into good colleges, and because of the financial situation that most of us students need to worry about. But in Puerto Rico, college doesn't look like something you need to stress about so much. Not because people don't think about going to college or because they don't care about their education, but because we all know that somehow we will get into college. It is not such a big competition as it is here. I had no idea how college worked over here, which meant I was behind. I was losing the race. My parents didn't have a savings account for me. I didn't know what to do or where to go, so I just knew that I had to start right away. I started applying for scholarships. I joined multiple clubs. I joined choirs. I got involved in my community. I started living this crazy, fast-paced lifestyle. And every time I would go to my guidance counselor, she would always say, "Oh my God, this is going to look great on your college application." Sadly, I realized that it wasn't so easy as I thought. I got rejected from a lot of scholarships. And I got rejected from a lot of places. I joined clubs that I didn't even like. And that was awful for me. In Puerto Rico, you will get into college no matter what, because the financial situation is different than it is here. I think it's safe to say that most college students actually study for free because of the scholarships opportunities that we have over there. So when I came here, I saw how different things are. Things are harder to achieve, and scholarships are harder to get. I also realized that everything we did in high school was for college. Like all the clubs that I joined and all the things that I did were only for a college application. I would work so hard to get good grades so I could get into a good college. And to be honest, I felt as if I wasn't really learning. I was just bottling up the answers to get a good grade so I could get into a good college. So I failed to do the one thing that I went to school for: learn. This is what I encountered when I first got here. The funny thing about this fast-paced lifestyle is that it doesn't allow you to notice that you're living it unless you stop living it. I came here and I saw that this was the way people lived. I saw that if I wasn't able to live like them, then I wouldn't survive. With time, I always had somewhere to be. I always had something to do, and there wasn't a lot of time to take a break. I didn't really notice how much damage this type of lifestyle was causing me because I got so caught up in being on time, in doing a lot of interesting things, and always having somewhere to be and someone to see. And in a sense, it was a good thing because it was getting me somewhere. It was getting me results. But it was also causing a lot of damage. This lifestyle left me to a great amount of stress, a silence kind of stress. Because I didn't allow myself to admit it because that meant less doing, and I had to keep going. I felt extremely sad every day for no reason, and my body would get physically sick because of the amount of stress that I was on. I also missed a lot of things. The days would go by so fast, and I never had time to actually live them. I didn't notice that winter had passed. Yes, that sounds crazy, but I didn't. One day, I woke up, and I saw that the trees in my backyard had leaves on them. And I suddenly realized that spring had started and that winter had passed. And the first thought that came to my head was, okay, wait, I miss Christmas. And I did. I miss Christmas. Winter went by, and it was just a blurry memory, which was mournful, because some of my best memories had always been spending time with my family during the winter celebrations. I realized that I was missing my life. I was growing up, and I really hadn't done anything. I hadn't learned anything new about life. Sometimes I would be in places celebrating, and my body would be physically present, but my mind would wander off to all the things that I had to do, and I would resent celebrations because they would waste my time. I wanted to stop, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. I was working so hard, so extra hard to make a good life, but I was missing the one I had. I miss 2 years of my life. And once I realized what was going on in my life, I decided that my life needed to take a pause. The small pause I took allowed me to see how bad I've hurt myself. I also realized why I was so addicted to living like this. I'm sorry, what? I'm a genius? I know. My American dream. Of course, the American dream has changed. It's no longer centered around being a white man with a successful job and with a family that lives in the suburbs. It has changed because of the amount of different people that have made it their own. For an example, my parents' American dream is to have a successful business that helps them pay for their children's college and that helps them pay for their necessities. My American dream is being able to become a pediatrician that travels the world, giving medicine to those who are not as lucky as we are. But I am not the only one with that dream. Our lives here are a constant competition. We compete with each other every day because maybe you have a dream, but 100 people also have the same dream. So now you're all just trying to get there first. If you take your time, another will come, and the doors that were once open to you are no longer. Our lives are in constant speed because we're all trying to make our dreams come true, but so is everyone else. So we're all just trying to get there first. Sadly, trying to get there first is making us miss the journey. I realized that I was missing my journey, and all the things that I was supposed to learn, I didn't learn them. With time, I saw that I wasn't the only one struggling. This phenomenon seems to affect all ages. I saw my mom struggle every day with this same problem. She didn't seem to have time. We moved here because of her business, and back in Puerto Rico, she seemed to have time for everything. But here, time seemed to go faster, and she never seemed able to catch up with it. She was no longer present in my recitals, my awards, our family gatherings, church. We wouldn't converse like we used to. And when she was able to be there, she didn't seem to enjoy it. With time, she also realized that she was missing her life and mine. She was working hard to make a good life for me, but she was missing seeing me actually live that life. She noticed there was no point in working hard for your family when in the end, you're just going to lose them. So She cut back on her hours, and she decided to be present every time she could. I also realized that my mom and I weren't the only ones struggling, but we struggle as a country too. Our lives are in such speed that we don't even notice our own problems, and even if we did, we wouldn't have time to actually solve them. As we all know, all good equations have an answer. My problem was the pace that my life was going at. So my answer was slowing down. I personally think that slowing down your life can be managed in different ways. You can take things off your plate, or you can cut hours at work, whatever works for you. But the way I decided to slow down was by doing things for me. Meaning, I did things that I actually liked, things that I was passionate for, things that weren't for a college application, but things that made me happy. I didn't swim for a college application. I didn't become president of my class for a college application, but because I really wanted to do something and because I really wanted to make a change. And I am. I am joyful and I am grateful for my life. I no longer intend on missing my life. I already missed too much of it. And that may be the answer for you, or it may not. But if it is, you should do it. Do what makes you happy. Because even if you're doing a lot of it, it would feel as if you're doing nothing. And I'm not saying that because Mark Anthony said it, but because I've seen it. There are people out there who do what they love, and they are truly, truly happy. I want to be happy. So I joined them, and I decided to be happy too. If I'm being honest, this lifestyle is not such a bad thing. Of course, the speech may sound like an admonition to this type of lifestyle, but it's not. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but the complete opposite. This is to get you thinking. It's more of an advice because, well, look at me. I am older than the most of you, and that makes me really wise. So you should listen to my advice. I'm not telling you to stop your life, to take everything easy and relax. I'm just telling you that you should always take a pause from your busy lives and go home. Spend time with your families. Look around. And take a time to realize what's going on around you and those around you. Because, well, a little party never hurt nobody. And taking the time to focus on what's happening around you will make a big difference. Also, try to enjoy the small moments in your life. And enjoy them to the best that you can. I never knew that a car ride could be so much fun. And it is. It's super fun. Don't stop your life, but live your life to the point where you're able to sit down as an elder man or woman and tell crazy stories of how you got to where you are. To close, I was told that closing my speech with a famous quote would be a marvelous way of finishing. So here it goes. I once said, remember to live your life while you're building life. Thank you.